I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. I was barely 17, and I once
did experiments
with a Fender guitar. I don't remember if it was a Telecaster or a Stratocaster, but I do remember that it had a heart of chrome and a voice like a
molecular biologist.
I don't remember if it was a Telecaster or a Stratocaster, but I do remember that it wasn't at all easy. This is vaguely scientific. For talking about science and for keeping it vague, for crying out loud, you know I'm Derek. Jim would do anything for science, but he won't do that. Hi, Jim.
I don't know why people keep asking me to stick my ungloved hand into magma.
Your reactions are usually pretty good. I feel like you kind of
fair.
invite that.
Yeah.
Well, our guest this week is all revved up with no place to go. Please welcome back Sierra.
Well, technically I have lots of places to go, but I'm here, so.
Yes, we are commandeering your time.
That's the first time I've had a witty comeback.
Yeah. I don't know that that's true, but it was a good one. Vaguely Scientific is a show where we try to answer questions submitted by listeners, posed by friends of the show, and gathered by random happenstance in our daily lives. We can't always promise we'll get the answers right, but I didn't come up with something pithy to say instead. Before we get to those questions, Jim, do you have a fun science fact of the day for us?
I do. So scientists that were studying laughter at UCLA discovered that if you slow down a real, genuine laugh from a human, that it's difficult to distinguish from animal noises. However, if you slow down a fake laugh, that it is easier to determine if a sound is made by that human.
I thought that was fascinating because it's like you can like detect that somebody is putting on a laugh.
Yeah.
By slowing it down. That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was super interesting because it's one of those things where I feel like we've talked about, very small, like micro emotions in the past. And that's kind of what it reminded me of. It's like, as convincing as you want your laugh to be, it's, you can maybe tell if you slow it down just a little bit.
Yeah. What about the people that have fake laugh? Those people that like, they probably do have a real genuine laugh, but they laugh on a daily basis with kind of a faux laugh that they've created for themselves.
Yeah,
I wonder
it's like
if that makes a difference.
Well, because it sounds artificial, and that's what the study was showing, that like
interesting.
When it's a genuine laugh, it's sort of indistinguishable from animal sounds, as Jim said, because it is a primal, instinctive thing.
Yeah.
So, kind of similar to lie detecting. That's a cool science fact. Speaking of cool science facts, we have some questions to get to, and I think I'm going to start off with this one. Question 1 this week. Fear, tiredness, happiness, anger, etc. are all caused by chemicals in your brain, which can be mitigated with other chemicals. How much can you control your mood with food?
Ooh, what if you could make some really fun new emotions like dorselessness?
Did you just make up a word?
No, I'm referencing something.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you always see in movies like, the girl after the breakup is like crying and eating like chocolate or fast food or whatever in bed.
Cream, your comfort food, yeah.
Ice cream, whatever your comfort food is. Yeah, in movies, you'll see a girl, sitting there on her period eating ice cream or whatever. Mm-hmm. That affects, supposedly in these movies, it's making you feel better. It's improving your mood.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I want to point out, since you're saying it's quote unquote just hormonal or something, the word hormonal is often used reductively, but like all of our emotions are caused by hormones.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, That makes me think of things like cravings with different, because I mean,
Yeah.
like with pregnancy, I know cravings are a big thing, but also just like there are different diseases or like deficiencies that people can have. This is wildly unrelated, but I know that there's some kind of mineral deficiency that makes people crave eating dirt.
We talked about that on an episode that Sierra was on.
Yeah.
A long
totally
time ago.
We talked about eating the earth.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. But that may have come up like a My Strange Addiction type thing.
Yeah.
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 That's real. Yeah. Yeah. And people, they say, along with the whole pregnancy hormones thing, they say, like, if you're, I don't know how true this is, but like if you're having a boy, you crave different things than if you're having a girl.
Mhm.
And I guess whatever your cravings are improving your mood or making you happy.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done any research on that, but like, I don't know. I'd believe that to some degree.
Yeah. I had always heard, I didn't think to look this up because I didn't know this is the direction we were going. So this might be not entirely factually accurate, but I had always heard that it was sort of like your body's way of saying, hey, you need this particular like vitamin or nutrient, so you're going to crave this food. And like, hey, you need this particular combination of ingredients over here, so you're going to crave that one. And it's all basically because you are having all of those nutrients leached away from you by the baby.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was very iron deficient when I was pregnant, and my son was built off McDonald's double cheeseburgers.
Interesting.
So that checks out.
Yeah. No, apparently that's very common because my wife was also extremely iron deficient.
Yeah, totally.
So I went and I found a list of various chemicals that are common in foods.
Ooh, oxygen, nitrogen.
Well, I was thinking more like things like caffeine and glucose and capsaicin, like that kind of kind of stuff there. But
not elements,
chemicals, which have elements in them.
Yeah.
Is sugar a chemical?
Oh yeah,
sugar
absolutely.
is a chemical. Glucose or sucrose. There's a lot of different kinds of sugar. I think it's interesting that being tired, for example, I know we've talked about this before. Being tired is caused by a chemical that your brain produces, and caffeine actually blocks the production of that chemical, which I find fascinating in a weird way, because like you think of being tired as like lacking energy, but there is actually a chemical that needs to be produced to make you feel tired, which is actually similarly true of being hungry. I think there's a chemical that makes you feel hungry. And actually I'll get to that a little bit later, because I was looking at, well, you can make yourself not feel as tired by taking caffeine, or you can make yourself less stressed out by taking what is this, theanine?
Theanine. Oh, theanine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in a lot of teas, right? So it helps you relax and help. So these are things that we do to mitigate our mood to some extent. And then that kind of led me to think, where do we draw the line with food for this question? Because like the question kind of makes me think, how many homeopathic medicines can you replace like pills by just like changing your diet or something? But taking a lot of medication is just ingesting various chemicals, and there's a lot of like dietary supplements that are basically just ingesting chemicals that you might find in food. And so like hunger being caused by something that your body produces a chemical that makes you feel hungry, that tells you need to eat. Well, there are a lot of like weight loss drugs that are really popular right now, like the Ozempics out there, which are basically just appetite suppressants.
Yeah.
So how far can you take this question into just literal medicine?
Yeah. Well, and that specific thing you mentioned, that reminds me of when we talked about the Ig Nobel Prizes recently, and they were just saying like, oh, if you mix Teflon in with your food, then you'll feel more full. And so, I mean...
Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of which, though, I mean, like one of the things that right off the top I feel like we could mention is just that eating when you are hungry will also alter your mood, because people get hangry. I know that my 4-year-old gets hangry when he's not even all that hungry, to be honest with you. He goes from like 0 to 100 when he gets hungry. But like, that's something right there that is not even chemically dependent. It's just like you are angry because you have a need in your body that makes you feel crappy. So
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Now we're going a totally different direction too, but you were talking about your son. I saw a quote from somebody that said that, kids, babies essentially, are feeling like when they, cry or whatever, like they're teething, for example, they're feeling the most pain that they've ever felt in their entire life every day because their tolerance is growing. So that's probably the same with hunger. Like, you are the most hungry you've ever been in your life every single day.
Yeah,
but
when
then
it's
the
a new
opposite
experience, you've never experienced it before.
But then the opposite's happening.
Yeah, I've noticed it's starting to taper off more than it was when he was 3. But you're right. I mean, every experience is going to be brand new for quite some time.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's the same with hunger, but then the opposite is food making you feel the happiest you've ever been. Like 3-year-old has a McDonald's cheeseburger. Like, oh my gosh, that's just going to raise your
Well,
your happiness
and
levels.
That's a very like fatty kinds of food. Things we tend to feed children, which honestly, why do we feed children the least healthy stuff? I don't know.
Because they want it.
Because they want it.
People don't.
Well, actually, I wasn't planning on bringing this up, but I learned why kids will eat candy, but they won't necessarily eat something healthy like vegetables or fruit. And it was explained to me, if you get, what's a candy? I don't know. A Jolly Rancher is the first thing that pops into my head. If you have, assuming they're all the same color flavor of Jolly Rancher, you can have a green apple Jolly Rancher, and then you can have another green apple Jolly Rancher, and you know that those two things are going to taste exactly the same, right? There's a consistency there. But if you give a kid a blueberry, there's a chance that blueberry might be slightly unripe, slightly overripe. There's a chance it might have some kind of rotten part in it. And that kid's going to eat that and maybe have a bland blueberry, maybe have a super flavorful blueberry, but it's not consistent. And so that's why kids don't like to eat like vegetables as much as they like to eat candy. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that's fascinating. But to get back on track, candy has sugar in it. Tons of sugar, releases a lot of dopamine, and then makes you crash because you are now deprived of, well, both the energy that it gave you, but also you're also deprived of that dopamine. So you come down from that, and then you want more candy. There is an addictive element to a lot of things. Again, we're talking about drugs.
That makes me think of the a lot of the things that I were reading are in regards to things that are pretty strongly correlated in scientific literature, but it's sometimes difficult to pin down a causation with some of these things because it's pretty clear that there's some kind of sort of like an addictive element to a lot of sugary things, but sometimes it's very difficult to pin down why and how exactly that is working because our bodies require sugar. So what is the mechanism by which like extra sugar means, hey, now I really want this? And is it a taste thing? Is it a neurotransmitter thing? Like, it's interesting because there are so many different things where it's like, we can tell that there's a correlation here, but is there causation? Hard to say. Human bodies are weird.
Right? Yeah.
So what's interesting is because now we're talking about like the addiction of certain food types, right? Like sugars and fatty foods and like fast food, stuff like that. And we've all seen the My 600-Pound Life where, there's people that are severely addicted to food and that's like the only thing that brings them joy. What if we just take that completely out of it? Just pretend like the only food on the planet is whole food and then ask the question again.
Right. Well, I think that there's still a lot to that because another example is tryptophan in turkey and people always feeling really tired after Thanksgiving dinner, right? There's really not a significant amount of tryptophan in turkey that causes you to be that tired. The reason people get tired is because they're very active during the day and then they end their day in the mid-afternoon by eating just a lot. So they're really just worn out from the day, but they associate it with what they've eaten. And the reason that I bring that up is the placebo effect has quite a bit to do with how food can alter our mood as well.
That's true. Yeah.
And I wonder if it's a personal joy thing. Like my favorite vegetable is like peppers or something like that. I'm going to get an immensely higher amount of joy from eating peppers than I am of like Brussels sprouts. And I'm just thinking like you cook them plain with like salt and pepper or something like that. You know, bacon wrapped Brussels sprouts are a different story. But like I'm going to personally, because I like peppers better, get more joy from peppers than eating Brussels sprouts. So I wonder if that's like a personal preference and like a personal joy thing as well.
Well, I think it would be. And I think so that's another way in which it can alter our mood. You're not just getting the chemicals from the food, but eating the food that you like is going to encourage your brain to release endorphins, right? So yeah, I think that's absolutely a valid way to take the question.
So I guess the solution to the question is eat the food you like. Your mood will increase.
I mean, to some degree, but like there's also a certain level, if we go back to sugars and stuff, cutting out junk food ultimately is a hard thing for people who live on junk food to do. But you can talk to basically anyone who has managed to go on a successful diet and learn that like after a month or a couple months, they genuinely do realize that they feel better now that they're not like filling their bodies with
it.
Well, that's like I was looking at an article that was on Harvard's website, and one of the things that they specifically said was that a lot of processed sugars actually will increase instances of things like depression and other mood issues. And so I mean, that's exactly what we're saying right now. Like, if you can cut those kinds of processed sugars out, then there seems to be, again, it's a correlation, but it is one that is worth noting. And so I thought that was kind of interesting that was on that article.
I mean, this is coming from somebody who loves Dr. Pepper.
What about Real Doctor?
Well, no. So most people who know me in person know that I love Dr. Pepper. I haven't had any Dr. Pepper, I think, in 4 months.
Oh, wow.
And that is largely, I haven't had any soda pop in about that long, mainly because I had a lot of dental problems and I can't afford dentistry. So I decided to stop drinking soda pop for a long time. And like, I don't need it. So I don't know.
I think that's fair. I mean, you know, however you end up cutting it out, it still counts.
Have I given it up? No. But I just found it fascinating. I don't know. I'm running an experiment on myself at this point. That's how I see dieting. Because I'm not really dieting, but I'm like, what happens if I do this extreme life change?
If I cut this out, will I feel better? Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys have, what are those, the soda shops? The drive-through ones?
I don't know that we do. I think we have.
Not that I'm immediately aware of. What's it called?
There's a bunch of different ones. I just went to Idaho recently and they have Swig. That is real good. You drive through and you like just get soda. Like it's like Starbucks where you can get like flavorings and stuff. But
I've never heard of such a thing.
Downing on your favorite drink, Derek, that you can't have.
I can have it. There's
you choose
nothing
not
preventing me
to.
from doing it. I also looked at how can you affect your mood in terms of how could you like manipulate your brain chemistry in a certain way. So like, could you eat a certain amount of food that would make you feel, well, we know tired, we know happy. Could you deliberately make yourself sad by eating something? Could you deliberately make yourself angry? Could you deliberately make yourself feel fear?
I mean, I definitely could make myself feel angry eating something. It's happened before.
So
I know what you mean, though.
I know. So I was reading that like histamines have a tendency to make people feel anxious. Cannabis was the closest thing I could find that like gives people a sense of fear or like a paranoia. But as far as like anger, I wasn't really able to find anything other than like caffeine can make people feel like more irritable, but it doesn't really make people angry. And then I was finding alcohol is a depressant, right? Alcohol can make you feel sad, but it can also make you feel aggressive. And then I was kind of reading the things that can make you feel irritable are the same things as the things that can make you feel sad. And that leads me to, it's not the actual chemicals in the food that you're eating. It's, as Sierra already kind of brought up, it's a more personal, your response to those foods.
Yeah. Although that does remind me of another thing I noticed, which was the fact that a lot of times our gut flora can affect our mood as well. And so different things that can cause them harm, whether it's like different kinds of food that maybe don't agree with the particular flora that you have in your stomach, or not stomach, but like, digestive tract, or certain diseases that, kill off a large part of your gut flora and they have to sort of repopulate. Those kind of things can also affect your mood, which I thought was really interesting because it's one of those things that we are now learning a lot more about, how the large number of good bacteria that live in your body have a surprisingly big effect on your behavior and life. So
yeah, I just looked this up. 90% of serotonin is produced in your gut.
Yeah. I think that was one of the things I saw in that Harvard article.
Yeah, and a diet. Oh, I'm at Mass General Brigham, but same.
Yeah.
But a diet rich in fiber and whole foods supports a healthy microbiome, which boosts your mental health.
That makes sense, yeah. I got to tell you, when I have a tummy ache, that makes me mad.
That's a result of the food, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, caffeine also releases, it says encourages the release of dopamine, not that it directly releases dopamine.
Yeah, well, because your brain produces dopamine. Because people say that about sugar, too. Sugar gives you dopamine. Well, it doesn't. It actually gives you the release of dopamine, which is already in your brain.
Yeah.
I don't know what actually produces dopamine. Jim, is that a thing you know offhand?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Somewhere in your head, though, is where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm reading something that says packaged foods, fast food are associated with an increased risk of anxiety and depression. But we were just talking about how those things like bring you immediate joy. So I was looking up the difference between dopamine and serotonin. Serotonin is more of like a calm, like stabilized happiness. And it says promoting feelings of well-being. And dopamine is what I'm assuming is caused by like fast food and sugar and stuff because it's like a reward chemical. Which now that I'm reading these, I knew this, but I wanted to look up like the exact difference between the two because I feel like I always get them mixed up.
Okay.
So that makes sense as to why like Whole Foods give you a long term, you're a happier person when you're eating Whole Foods.
It's not just looking for the short term reward, right? Like dopamine, very famously, people crash when dopamine stops flowing.
So the one other thing I was thinking about is just the fact that there are a lot of different kinds of vitamins that can affect your mood and really just affect your overall well-being, I suppose. So like I know that one of the things that I always struggle with is low vitamin D because that you get that from being out in the sun and it's just so dang cloudy here all the time.
Right.
But when you are low in vitamin D, it can kind of make you feel lethargic and sluggish. And so I usually try to take here and there like a vitamin D capsule just to kind of keep that up. And then vitamin B is another one that apparently I struggle with. Didn't realize this. A couple of years ago, I was getting really sleepy all of the time. And I went to the doctor and they were like, oh man, you got like, single digit vitamin B count. I was like 1/4 what I was supposed to have. And they gave me like a vitamin B shot. And I was like right as rain 2 days later.
Yeah.
So vitamin's important.
It's interesting that you bring up the lack of sun and needing vitamin D because sunlight doesn't actually like provide you vitamin D, but it triggers your skin to produce vitamin D.
Yeah.
So like similar thing, like things that are triggering your body to to already take care of itself in a way that it theoretically could do if we just tell it to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's 101 and sunny today, so I unfortunately fortunately, I guess, can't relate.
Yeah, that's awful. That sounds horrible to me. But
it was
glad
sunny
you
throughout
like
the day, but while it was not 101, the humidity was 101%. So
that I think is worse personally. Like I would take the dry heat.
Yeah, I don't like humidity. That's but we had several thunderstorms where I am today, and I loved that.
Yeah,
so I'm here for that.
Yeah, the first half of the day was 100% humidity. The second half of the day was thunderstorms, and I was like, all right, that works for me.
Well, caused by the humidity.
Caused by humidity for sure, but yeah, Jim. If before we move on to the next question, there's something that's just kind of I want to get off my chest, a rant, if you will, if you'll give me a moment.
Here's a soapbox.
Thank you. From time to time, we do a segment on here called World's Best World, which highlights some really interesting locations or phenomena from around the world. Typically, Jim provides the information for these segments, and I'm usually left with the feeling of wanderlust because I want to visit every single place he tells us about. This is a little different. This is a mock segment, a pseudo segment I'm calling World's Worst World, because there are some things on Earth I never want to see or be around, and one of them is perhaps the bane of my childhood summers, and the reason I now adamantly avoid exploring the woods: poison ivy.
Yes.
We all know what poison ivy is. I don't think I have to explain it like it's some bizarre, hard-to-believe oddity that exists somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. No, poison ivy is everywhere. It's wrapped around trees. It's climbing up the side of houses. It's on the hillside right where you want to have your picnic. And then turn around. There's probably some brushing up against your leg right now. And I hate it. Truth be told, poison ivy is native to North America and some places in Asia. So it's not literally everywhere in the world. There are similar plants in other places as well. But if you're in the USA, at least, you know poison ivy. Poison ivy is mostly harmful to humans. In fact, birds, deer, rabbit, and goats don't really worry about an allergic reaction to it. Some of them even eat it. And this is a little bit ironic because human development has directly aided it in becoming incredibly widespread. Poison ivy thrives alongside, right? Poison ivy thrives along forest edges, typically places where it's the wildlife has been thinned out, where human development meets the wild. So we have actually created the perfect habitat for it to spread. Poison ivy produces an oil called urushiol, which 90% of humans are allergic to. Upon contact with your skin, urushiol fuses with the protein in your skin, which causes your body to recognize it as a foreign invader and rush to destroy it, causing swelling, blistering, and itchy horribleness for weeks. It also is incredibly resilient because the oils can remain toxic on dead roots, stems, and fallen vines for years after the plant has died. In theory, we could develop some kind of CRISPR gene editing or targeted herbicide to destroy it, similar to like various plans discussed to eradicate mosquitoes, but poison ivy is so widespread that eradicating it completely from the ecosystem is immensely unfeasible. And guess what? Scientists say that due to an increase of carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere, poison ivy growth and toxicity has doubled since the 1950s and seems to be steadily increasing to this day.
Boy, we're just really poison ivy's best friend, aren't we?
Right?
between the forest edge thing and the carbon dioxide. Wow.
Weird letting it do it. Like it's our fault.
I didn't know that the
That's
oil
victim
lasted
blaming.
so long. Yeah, that too.
But I'm the victim.
I did not know that oil lasted for so long.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I hate poison ivy so very much.
I remember when I was a kid, I got poison ivy on my face and my one eye swelled shut, and that's like, I would get it really bad. It would be.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
I had multiple summers where I was laid up because my face was swollen shut. I had to go get steroid shots just to make it so that I could breathe.
Ugh.
Yeah. To this day, like a couple years ago, I think I got poison ivy. I avoid it like the plague now, but I think I got it a couple years ago, and I just immediately went to the doctor and was like, "Can I get a steroid?" And they're like, "We don't usually do that unless it's like endangering your ability to breathe." And I'm like, "I don't care. It's endangering my sanity."
You should have just held your breath and be like, "It's not working anymore."
It's not work. Oh, I can't breathe. You gotta give me a steroid. All right. Well, I'm glad I got that off my chest.
Hopefully you don't get poison ivy on your chest.
Hopefully I don't get poison ivy, because that'll interrupt the steadiness with which I draw breath, right?
Yeah.
the rhythm of my breathing, right?
The pace.
Jim knows what I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a segue, because speaking of rhythm, question 2 this week: do rhythm games make you better at music? I think immediately yes. Immediately my answer is yes.
That's how I feel
think
too.
So. Mm-hmm.
I guess it's worth diving in. I think maybe could we give like a description of what a rhythm game is in the broadest sense?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just looked up rhythm games, and they're all video games, which I don't think was the intended type of game.
Well, I think that by and large, video games are a big part of it, but I imagine that there are probably a lot of nowadays, especially compared to when I was younger, I bet there are a lot of like tactile games that count as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, by and large, I would say that rhythm games are a genre of video game, or potentially something more tactile, where you have to do something in time to a beat of some sort in music, or maybe there's just like a bass line that you have to follow or something like that. But a lot of these rhythm games are very dynamic, and so you have to dance or you have to move your arms or things like that, and they can be a lot of fun if you know what you're getting yourself into.
What was the one where you like just move your feet? Is that Just Dance? That was like in the early 2000s.
That might be Dance Dance Revolution.
Yes.
I used to be really good at that.
I don't know if that would necessarily make you better at I mean, it would make you better at like counting beats.
Yeah,
area.
Sure.
That arena of music, maybe not necessarily. Like, I guess the second half of the question: what is being good at music? What does that mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a fantastic point, because rhythm is one element to it, and so I looked at the idea of like a Guitar Hero or a Rock Band type game, which is essentially, if you ignore the vocals, which is literally karaoke, there's the two elements that I'm familiar with: playing the guitar controller and drumming. And there are a lot of like musicians, like Prince famously, and the Beatles even for like a long time, and various other musicians that would never license their songs to these types of video games because they felt it would discourage kids from learning to actually play the guitar.
Oh, okay.
And I will go out there and say that for sure a game like Guitar Hero does nothing to help you learn how to play the guitar. However, drumming is kind of a different thing, because generally they have a setup where you have like a quad setup of drum heads. You use drumsticks, and then you have a foot pedal. So it does teach you things like hand-eye coordination and coordinating your feet and your hands and timing and rhythm. And while it doesn't necessarily teach you like the fundamentals of music, or it doesn't teach you music theory, it is essentially an exercise. So if you already know how to drum, it's essentially like drumming along with a track to practice.
Yeah.
And what makes you better at music? Practice.
Well, and yeah, drumming is one area of music too.
Yeah.
I played piano, violin, ukulele. I'm a horrible drummer. I've tried a couple times to sit down, and it is a completely different thing than playing any other instrument. But you know, you do need to have the rhythm aspect.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helps you with rhythm more specifically. And so in a narrow sense, yes, it
Yeah.
helps you get better at music.
Actually, one of the things that I thought was interesting that came to mind as you were talking about the guitar, the guitar controller, was the idea that holding the guitar, I feel like could really strengthen your finger muscles, because I know that when I first started playing Guitar Hero and then eventually Rock Band, it was hard for me to like get my fingers to be where I wanted them to be. And then after a while, I feel like I didn't get as many cramps in my fingers after I would play. So I think there's something to be said for like the strengthening of fingers.
For sure. I teach piano on the side of it. And piano is not necessarily, actually not at all as bad as guitar or like any stringed instrument. Those are so much harder to like get used to, because you gotta like move your hands in all kinds of different ways.
When you have to develop calluses and stuff.
Yeah, that's so hard. But even with piano, I always tell like my really young students, like, do you have a puppy? You know, how you train a puppy is you tell them to do it 10,000 times. You show them. So that's kind of what you got to do with your fingers. Is your fingers are puppies. You got to do it a bunch of times, and then eventually they're like, oh.
Yeah, I will say there are some. I don't know the names of any of them, other than I think there's one called Rhythm Heaven.
Oh yeah,
I'm aware of.
I'm gonna look that up.
It's cute.
It's I think a Nintendo game, Game Boy game.
I think it was on the DS and the Wii, and there might be a new one coming for the Switch. I'm not sure.
Oh, Nintendo Switch, yeah.
It is essentially a series of animations that you have to hit a button or multiple buttons at a certain timing, and the animation kind of gives you a clue as to when to hit. So it's like maybe a crosshair is going back and forth on the screen, and you have to push the button right when it's over the target or something like that. But it's very heavily influenced by listening to a beat and doing something based on sound cues.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the types of things that I have seen examples of. You can do well at the level, or you can do slightly less well at the level and still technically pass it.
Mm-hmm.
That type of game. So there's degrees of success, and that is to gamify it, right? That's to make it so it's still fun. So even if you're really bad at it, you can still advance in the game. And I would argue that the more lenient it is, the more lenient a game is, the more it is gamified, the less helpful it is going to be at actually teaching you to hone that skill.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, letting a kid cheat if they didn't quite do well enough. Well, they're never going to grow and become better at it, right?
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
That did make me think of, what was it called? Elite Beat Agents, where it was not a very similar style of game, but it just reminded me of how there were a lot of different configurations. This was a DS game, and so the whole premise was that you used your stylus to tap on different things, but there was also like dragging and drawing and all kinds of. It is not helpful for learning how to do anything musically, but
okay,
it just kind of reminded me of that concept of like, oh yeah, they very much gamified, like to a degree that is, I think, very far removed from like Rock Band or Dance Dance Revolution. They've really gamified the rhythm concept.
Yeah, I think I'm really late to the game here, just realizing that like so when I read the question, my old school was thinking like clapping games, like games you play in music class when you're a kid. So, I mean, I did look up some like rhythm video games, but like that's what I thought when I was looking at rhythm game, because that's what, like when I was in college and everything, like we played like rhythm games, like literally like clapping games or like, stuff to help you with music. And now I'm just realizing like the whole point of this question was probably video games like Dance Dance Revolution.
I don't think necessarily. I think it was brought up, and then that's the sort of just the tangent we are currently on. But I like bringing up what else can rhythm game mean.
Yeah.
And so you're suggesting there are literal music exercises teaching people. So sticking on drumming, I know that I'm going to stick on drumming mainly because rhythm seems to be the most correlated to that. But like there are exercises like doing paradiddles or something like that in drumming that is not really a song per se, but it is a thing that specifically develops muscle memory or a skill set that helps
rhythm
you.
exercises.
Right. And those would be games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is, like the clapping games, like if you're playing a song and you're, clapping along to it, like that's what I make my students do, stuff like that. Was what I initially thought.
This is finally, after 204 episodes, this is finally going to be canonically mentioned in an episode of a show. Before recording every single episode, you may have heard it already in outtakes. Listeners, you may have already heard us do this, but if you didn't listen to the outtakes episodes, before recording every single episode, we have to clap our hands together to sync up all our individual audio tracks so that there is a visible spike on the track so that we can put the tracks in sync. That's video editing or black magic, as some people would suggest. But every time we do it by counting down 3, 2, 1, and then all of us clap, Jim and me and whoever the guests are. And every single time we do that, like literally every single time we do that, even though I'm the one counting down from 3 to 1, I always think, oh, did I clap too late?
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. And that's a rhythm game.
Yeah.
Maybe you should play some more rhythm games.
I guess I should play more rhythm games.
You've got to play Paradise.
Sure.
Which has nothing to do with clapping or anything related. So, but no, it's a very true, and that's actually reminds me of a lot of the other hand clapping games we did as kids. Not even as just like a musical thing. It was just like, okay, this is, we're playing concentration, or we're doing the is it Miss Mary Black? I don't remember, but because
Mary Mac all dressed in black.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
But it's a rhythm game in the sense that you have to keep time with somebody else now. And so even though it's not really a musical thing and it's not really designed to teach you how to, play an instrument or anything, it is still, you have to have the rhythm and you have to match that rhythm with a different person, which I think is a valuable skill if you want to someday get into music, because you can't have your drummer and your guitarist doing two different tempos.
I mean, not usually. There are exceptions, but
true.
Well, what was that making me think of? Jump rope rhymes.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of an actual jump rope rhyme right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just
didn't have the
Googled
rhythm
it.
to do jump rope, so
I don't think I've ever actually earnestly given it a try, because I think I didn't have an attention span when I was a kid.
Mm.
So anyway, let's talk about bears.
Oh, I love bears.
Bears.
Sierra, did you ever do jump rope?
I did jump rope a couple weeks ago in a
wow.
hand class, and I hadn't done it in about 40 years. Well, no, I'm in my 30s, so not 40 years, but it was a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, this is actually really hard. I feel like I did do those little games when you're a kid, the really long jump rope.
Oh, yeah. Like double
I feel
dutch
like
and
I
stuff.
did. Yeah.
Cinderella
I was never like
dressed
doing
in
the crazy
yellow
stuff.
kind of stuff.
Dressed in yellow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's the only one I've ever heard. I Googled jump rope rhymes and I read through a bunch of them. The only one of these I've ever heard is Cinderella dressed in yellow. And then, of course, the Freddy Krueger rhyme.
Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, in the Nightmare on Elm Street, there's two little girls playing jump rope and they're like, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
You don't know ice cream soda, cherry on top. You don't know that one?
It's on this list. I never heard it before.
That one I remember. Hey, you and I are looking at the same list.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost remembered a jump rope rhyme that I had heard at some point, and I lost it completely.
I remember the one, I don't know how it goes, but there's the one that like always every line ends as if they're going to say a swear word and then it leans into the next.
That I didn't play as a jump rope game, but that's oh shoot. I just had it in my head. Miss Susie had a sailboat. That one? Yeah.
Maybe it isn't a jump rope rhyme.
Yeah, I never played it as a jump rope rhyme. I did it as a clapping game, but it's still rhythm.
Still rhythm. Yeah, that's fair.
Here's one. Apartment for rent. Inquire within. When blank moves out, let blank in. And then I'm assuming another person jumps in.
And then you have to do the quick change.
That is quite a game for children.
Yeah. It's like Red Rover with jump rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then patty cake. Patty cake's a rhythm game, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Really, any clapping dexterity thing, I think, counts.
Yeah.
I think kids are doing that less and less nowadays, which I wonder if that is affecting their dexterity and ability to like be good at, kids that don't do music, that don't take music class.
Right.
I wonder if that's affecting their like rhythm skills.
Well, it might. I mean, the things that we grow up with because like generational trends are cyclical, right? So like we're going to teach our kids the things that we were taught when we were kids, but there's like generations in between us and our kids that grew up. And that's why the 80s is super popular right now.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me into an interesting thing, like the method in which people learn things. And the reason that I think tying video games back into it makes sense because like the idea that, if kids are playing video games, they're not going to actually learn music. And while that's to some degree true, if they're only playing video games that have no instructional value whatsoever, there is also a lot of like anti-technology people that think you can't learn music from something like an app. And so I feel like I want to bring attention to, there are specific music learning programs that you can find on computers and smart devices that are specifically designed as teaching aids for learning music. And I don't think that discrediting those is wise. I think that there is merit to them, as long as you are conscious of, am I giving my kid a tablet with colorful pictures on it so that they'll be quiet and leave me alone? Or am I giving them something that will actually help them develop? And that's really the fundamental difference there, is that the things that are good for teaching children how to play musical instruments would also be good at teaching adults how to play musical instruments.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. That reminded me of something else that I thought was interesting about the idea. And that was just that by doing rhythm games, whether it's a video game or even whether it's just sort of a rhyming game, you are sort of adding to your musical repertoire. I think this is probably more true of like a video game version where you get a lot of different kinds of songs. But I mean, I know that as a kid, I thought that a lot of the music that I heard in Dance Dance Revolution was really interesting. And so it encouraged me to look for music that was similar in style. And so now I'm like, oh yeah, I like trance and techno music. And I like, J-pop and J-rock and all these different things that I would have never been exposed to just by listening to the radio.
That's interesting.
So even beyond that, though, this isn't a rhythm game because it's just Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But being that I grew up listening to the jazz that was on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, I'm like really into jazz as well. So
the GOAT, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's interesting because what Sierra brought up, what does being good at music mean?
Yeah.
One argument you could make, and this isn't video games either, but like the Looney Tunes, for example, exposed an entire generation to classical music and opera.
Yeah.
That a lot of people in our age group know from, like Barber of Seville, for example. Most people in my age group know that from Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Now, I am an academic, so I know a lot of people who genuinely are interested in opera. But like on a large generalization, people our age know it from Looney Tunes. And I think video games taking music from all sorts of different genres, even if it's not a rhythm game, and playing it as the atmosphere, teaching you as someone playing a video game or watching a movie, because cinema does this as well. You may not even be consciously aware that you are listening to music, but the fact that it is heightening your experience is giving you some appreciation and expanding your knowledge of music.
Yeah.
So I think that is a way that it can make you better at music.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, and I think it's a really good point, too, because, if you don't take an interest in music in the first place, then you're not going to be good at music no matter what. So
fair. Well, yeah, how many stories are there of the kid that got a guitar for their birthday, played it for a week, and then gave up because they weren't immediately amazing at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be bad before you can be good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the thing from Adventure Time? It's like sucking at something is the first step to being kind of good at it, or something like that.
Yeah. I love that quote. Mick Jagger said something once where if you are practicing, if you never sound bad when you're practicing, you're not really practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I think I've taken that to heart because I always sound bad when I'm practicing. I want to reassure Sierra, I don't think you interpreted the question incorrectly.
No, I think that added a lot of depth that I wasn't expecting, and I really liked it.
Well, I Googled rhythm games and you guys were talking about video games and I'm like, huh. So I just Googled the words rhythm games and I'm looking at it and I'm like, everything that's coming up is video game. And I knew about Dance Dance Revolution, obviously, growing up with it, but I don't play video games. So like that wasn't even a thought in my head, really. So I was like, oh, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I liked that you brought a different perspective to it, too, because I did assume rhythm games, but obviously I like to go in as many directions as we can all the time.
Yeah, totally.
Listeners, let us know, how much can you control your mood with music? If you have any thoughts on that,
that's
or
a whole other
anything
question,
else,
actually.
Right?
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about it here and there, but it is a good one. Open that can of worms. If you have that can opener, you can let us know your thoughts by emailing us at feedback@vaguelyscientific.com, or you can comment on our blog on the website. You can like us on Facebook, or you can follow us on Blue Sky @vaguelyscientific. Hey, Jim, where do all these wacky questions come from?
We get them from you, the listeners. And if you have a question that needs to be answered in a vaguely scientific manner, please email us at questions@vaguelyscientific.com. If you want to get our episodes the minute that they're released, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and all the other great places that cool podcasts like to hang out. And subscribing and leaving feedback really helps us out, and so does telling your friends.
And also tell your friends that Dawn dish detergent is really good at killing the oil before you break out in a rash from poison ivy.
Oh, that is interesting.
What a fun fact.
I didn't know that. I should just carry around a bottle of like soapy Dawn water. And just spray it on myself.
Good for ducks and good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be their tagline.
That's the one with the duck ads, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Dawn is also, I think, the best bubble solution mix. It's like, 7 parts water and 1 part Dawn, and I'm like, this is great.
It's not just for dirty dishes.
Yeah, they don't even sponsor us.
They should. They really should.
Yeah, maybe they oughta. Our vaguely musical intro is composed by Anthony Pizzelli, and don't forget to check out our merch store ever at vaguelyscientific.threadless.com. You can also support us by giving us money directly through Buy Us a Coffee right on our website. So either way, you're supporting the show, and we get to keep on doing the things that you like.
Yeah, which we like doing the things that you like.
Yeah, we're easy to please.
Yeah. Speaking of things that please us, thank you, Sierra, for being here this week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again.
Hooray. For Vaguely Scientific, I am Derek.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Sierra.
Like a bat out of hell, we'll be gone when the morning comes.
Toodaloo, everyone.
Side story, I was at the pediatrician the other day, and we were sitting, there were like this group of 3 kids that were like between ages like 6 and 9, and they all sat down like in a circle, and this one kid was like, all right, so this meeting is about Josh. Josh has poison ivy. And this one kid goes, oh, Josh. And I thought it was so funny.
Wow.
I was like, you guys are having a meeting about Josh?
Look, Josh is just a mess right now.
I believe it.